Let's fucking go.
Okay,
Let's fucking go.
hello, Internet.
Hey there,
How are
Internet.
you? If you're like me, you're a bit fucking stressed out, and I don't know why. I think
Wait,
it
are
has
you
something.
stressed out?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with apparently wave. What are we on? Wave 4? Wave 5?
I can't
Fuck.
I can't count that
Whew.
high anymore. Hey, everyone. Welcome to a very exhausted episode of Outraged Factory, the podcast where we make look at the things that make people mad online, explain why they're dumb for caring. I'm your co-host, Derek Bolin.
I'm your other host, dalederuiter. That reminds me of a joke because Andrea was like today. She was like, I think I have general malaise because she's just like been feeling down or whatever. And I was like, are you sure it's not kernel fatigue? Everybody
Nice.
just turned off the podcast.
Yeah, that's thanks for tuning in for a minute and a half.
That whole me being stressed out because of everything that's going, I'm fucking out now. Yeah. So I guess why we're stressed out is I didn't want to talk about it because apparently everybody disagrees with me on Twitter that the okay, I have to finite say what this is because I agree with the traveling vaccine passport where if you're going to a different country or coming here, you should have both shots. That way, I don't know, you're not going to spread some new variant. But I don't agree with telling people they can't go to restaurants and shit. The restaurant, for whatever reason, the restaurants one bugs me more than, say, a movie theater or a sporting event. I think it does because when I think about it, the people who have to enforce it at the restaurant is like a 16-year-old hostess has to be like the front line of defense and be like, you can't come in here unless you have your card. Whereas a sporting event will have a whole bunch of security.
Yeah. So, okay. So BC announced, I don't know if they had announced this last time we recorded,
They did.
but they basically, okay. I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. Last time I said I didn't like it, but I was going to do it, but I've decided I'm just not going to do it. Like I have both my vaccines, but I don't know. It's just like this thing where I'm like, I don't agree with them being able to tell people they can't go to restaurants. Sporting events, I don't care. The restaurant one, like I just explained, just bugs me.
All right. So here we are. And this is now devolved into like it's all I see people talking about online, and people are like, there's no rational, sensible discussion happening. You're either like the government is fucking tyrannical and this is bullshit and this is like Nazi Germany and they're going to exterminate us all, or you're like anti-vaxxers want us all to die of COVID and they don't give a fuck who they hurt and they are the most selfish people on earth. And I'm just like, I'm fucking over it. So here are the facts. The facts are there is going to be a vaccine passport. They are going to use that vaccine passport to determine whether you can attend basically any public gatherings. They're saying it's going to be in effect for sports, theaters, social events, even weddings, restaurants. If you want to go out in public, you're going to have to show proof you got vaccinated. That is a fact. This is happening. My wife and I, we're going to Italy in 2 weeks for our honeymoon.
Ooh, go to Italy.
It's the same fucking thing there. Like if you want to go to a museum, if you want to get into the country, you have to show your vaccine passport. And then if you want to go to a restaurant, if you want to go to a museum, if you want to go on a train or a bus or a plane or anything inside the country, you have to show them your vaccine card. Otherwise, they will not let you do it. It's like this, I think, in a lot of countries in the European Union. And you can have your opinion on whether it's right or whether it's, overbearing government misstep. It doesn't fucking matter what anyone thinks. It's happening. So right now, what you're left with is the choice to either, grab your balls, get the shot. If you have the shot, register for the vaccine passport, get your fucking thing that you can show people so you can go eat at restaurants or attend sporting events, or don't do that and just like accept that life for at least the foreseeable future for you until they figure out the next step beyond what they're currently proposing. You're not going to be eating at restaurants. You're not going to be going to sporting events. You're not going to be going to movies. You're not going to be going to bars. You're not going to be doing any of that shit. And that's fine. If whatever side of that argument you fall on, it's fine. Just shut the fuck up about it, please. I cannot listen to it anymore. Like, I can't. Every conversation online is just like devolving into this shouting match between two fucking sides. This past week, a local, it's like a health food restaurant in Coquitlam, posted, it's like one that my wife loves, and they posted something about how they were like pro-choice and they would continue serving the unvaccinated, and that's and whatever else. And I posted on there and I was like, well, this is disappointing to me. They basically said, we don't discriminate. We don't care your vaccine status. We will continue serving whoever. And I went and commented on their thing, and I was like, this is disappointing to me because I wanted to bring my wife there for her birthday this weekend, but we can't risk it because we have our honeymoon in Italy coming up. Normally I probably wouldn't give a fuck. Like, I have not been a super risk averse person throughout this pandemic. But I was like, this is disappointing specifically because I cannot risk getting COVID before we go on our honeymoon in Italy in 2 weeks. And if we want to do fucking anything in Italy, we can't have COVID. And we're at the point now where if we got COVID, we wouldn't recover before we went to Italy.
One thing, like, did they say they weren't going to enforce the mask mandate or the passports? Because the passports don't come in till the 13th.
That was the thing. I was like, so I made my comment and I was like, this is disappointing because I can't bring my wife here this weekend. And all these fucking batshit insane anti-vaxxers started being like, oh yeah, you're a fucking totalitarian. Go suck your government's dick a little bit more. And I was like, no, like, but I was like, what is the point of you making this post? Like, this post was just basically virtue signaling to anti-vaxxers, because right now an unvaccinated person can walk into any fucking business and get service because no one's checking this shit yet. Like, also, nobody cares.
You said it was a health food store or a restaurant?
Yeah, it's like a hippie, like a health food restaurant.
Yeah, then the vaccine passport doesn't affect them because all grocery stores are considered essential, so they don't have to deal with the passport.
This one's more a restaurant than
but if they sell groceries, then they get away with it. So
there you go. Already fucking loopholes for people to jump through.
So they like you said, they were exactly being performative in there. Like, they were like, I don't even know if you'd say, I guess you could still call it virtue signaling, because they're trying to be like, we're not going to put up with this, so we're not going to do the passport. It's like, but grocery stores don't have to.
Yeah. Nobody is discriminating right now. There is not a fucking business in BC, as far as I know, that's asking for people's vaccine documentation when they walk in to be served.
Yeah.
There are places. I was fucking in Puerto Rico a week and a bit ago, and I had to show my vaccine card there to get into some restaurants and get service. Like, this is this is a measure that a lot of governments have deemed necessary to combat the variants, and that this fucking virus continues to just kind of like run roughshod through entire populations. And it's like, okay, you can have your fucking opinion on whether you think this is necessary or not, but it's happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think. And like, I think the one lasting lesson from all of this is that adults really do not fucking like being told what to do.
Exactly.
Like, you cannot take people. It's like we entrench this belief from like, okay, you're a kid. When you're a kid, you just like blindly follow what your parents say. And then once you hit the age of 18 and you graduate from high school, you do not have to do that ever again. You never have to listen to another human being. And now this whole situation has been like the government being like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. And people are just losing their fucking minds at this point. So
yeah, my whole thing, another reason why it's just like, for now, the Delta variant, it's still spreading for people who are vaccinated. So I'm like, is this going to give people who are vaccinated this kind of like false sense of security? Like, I'm glad they brought in the mask mandate, because the masks seem to be, even though they're not perfect, and you could talk about the N95s or whatever, but they seem to be doing the best to stop the spread. So if my whole thing, another part of the reason why is like, if you have like the vaccine thing passport where it's like, you can't go to a sporting event without this. So I get my card and I go to a sporting event and there's just like 1,000 people just mashed in my grill and we're all breathing each other, but we're all vaccinated. We could still get the fucking COVID. But so what I think they should do is just have the mask thing inside, whatever. Like it should, yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking, hopefully it works better on the Lambda variant whenever that shows up.
I mean, it's just a matter of time. And like, here's the thing, like the arguments I keep hearing around the vaccine thing are basically everyone looks at the vaccine through this lens of, oh, it is a personal choice whether I get the vaccine or not, because the vaccine is only meant to protect me. That's it. It's like a shield for me against COVID, and I can decide whether I need that shield or not. That's not what vaccines are for. That's not the intent of vaccines. The purpose of a vaccine is to get enough people protected against the virus. So it's a matter of public protection versus private protection. Like if it was just a question of like if you get this virus, it only hurts you and it doesn't impact anybody else, then like, yeah, fuck yeah, it's your decision. It's not that. Like this thing has shut down global economies for like rolling for the past 2 years. It's fucking like just kneecapped a lot of businesses. It's killed a fucking ton of people. And there's still a pretty significant population out there that doesn't have the vaccine. And the virus is showing that like, once it starts running through unvaccinated people, it can fucking mutate pretty quickly and make everybody else's vaccines totally worthless. So I think we need to stop looking at it through this lens of like, okay, like the vaccine is just for you and it's a personal choice. It's not a fucking personal choice. It's a societal choice at this point. And the reason they're bringing these vaccine passports in is because you either have the choice to take the fucking shot and do it for the benefit of the society that you live in, or not do that and not get to take part in the society that you live in.
Yeah. I feel like everybody should get the vaccine, even if like, just because it also like, even if you get it, it makes it way more pleasant to have COVID, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. For not wanting to bring this up, we talked about it for 20 minutes. So
I'm just fucking like, I totally relate to what Andrea is feeling right now. Like, I think it was like
Andrea.
Didn't you say Andrea was feeling?
Oh, general malaise. Yeah.
General malaise. Yeah.
I was like,
I'm feeling some kernel fatigue over here.
Yeah. Kernel fatigue.
But yeah, like it was like COVID for like a year and a half. And then we're like, oh, we're all getting vaccinated. We're doing our part. We're climbing our way out of this thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, the fucking hammer drops. And it's like, okay, like mask mandate is brought back in. Cases keep fucking climbing in BC. So you got to imagine it's just a matter of time before they turn off like indoor dining or joining. Like we go back to having our safe 6 probably within the next couple months here. I'm just fucking
hopeful. Think it's going to get that bad?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, I was like, it was weird because it's just like fucking, it seems like everybody, like the reason why everybody's so fired up about this is it's like, even out in like the world when I'm driving around, I feel like my temper is a lot shorter. And I don't like, I thought I was like, cause I grew up with a terrible temper. Like anybody who knows me when I was a kid or a child or teenage years or my 20s or yesterday knows that I used to pop off, but I'd had it like for the last 10 years or so. I hadn't like fully lost complete like my shit. But lately I've just been like, today a lady cut in front of me at the store and I was like, what the fuck? Like that. And she's like, I was here first. I was like, no, you fucking weren't. And I was like,
I'll fucking kill you.
I was like, I'll throw down, old lady. But I didn't. And then I was just like, I caught myself and I was like, Jesus, Like she's only got like 10 items and I'm clearly a better person because I was here first, but I'm still letting her go without continually swearing at her. But I was like, oh, that lady. And then I was like, oh yeah, maybe I've got that general malaise as well.
Little bit on edge. And I honestly, I see this in everyone, and you see it playing out in like every conversation people are having online and like,
oh yeah,
or in person. Like same thing. I fucking, we drove out to Golden Ears and like took a little hike before we podcasted. And on the drive home, people would like drive a little slowly in front of me. And I'd like lean on my horn, be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like move your fucking car, asshole. I got a podcast to do. Very important. Lives hang in the balance.
Yeah, like I was the guy, not in front of you, but I was the guy. I was like trying to like start playing my music or whatever. I know you're not supposed to fuck with shit while you're driving. And the guy behind me like drove right up to my bumper. I was like, dude, I will fucking kill us both. I don't care. I was like, oh shit. I'd be like, yeah, it's like, it's funny. Like today, like after last night, like this week, I've been arguing with people about the passport thing. And then just like all this other weird shit that's happening. Like Biden is now saying that it might have came from the fucking lab. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, we used to get scrubbed off the internet for saying this. And then today I was like, okay, no more fucking politics on Twitter. Or like I never post them on Facebook. But I'm like, that's my new thing. I'm just not talking about politics on Twitter. I said what I said. I'll keep my dumb opinions for the podcast.
Hell yeah, that's why we have it.
Yeah.
Let loose, bud. Let's go.
Yeah. And the funniest thing was on Twitter, I think it was the day before yesterday, I was arguing with someone about something to do with COVID. And then at the same time, we were making jokes about this other thing. And we were both talking back and forth on Twitter, having dual conversations. And one was happy and funny. And the other one was, we were like, kind of like making points and arguing it out. And I was like, let's just stick to the funny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like to everyone who is listening to this, like everyone's on fucking edge. No one's really happy right now. It feels like we're never going to come out of this shit and everything's feeling a little fucked and hopeless. So maybe just like be a little bit extra kind to yourself and to the slow fucking idiot who's making you late for your podcast or the idiot shitty old lady who cuts in front of you at the grocery store. You know, we're all going through the same shit, and let's just not murder each other in cold blood over.
You know what
reasons.
You should do instead? You should murder yourself by doing the fucking milk crate challenge.
The milk crate challenge. What you should do, go to the veterinarian, get a fucking fucking one of those epoxy tubes of ivermectin, shoot it into your mouth, and then do the milk crate challenge.
Yeah.
And see where that
I heard getting broken ribs helps you fight off COVID.
Like some of the pictures people were posting, be like, I did the milk crate challenge, and it's just like a fucking like black welt from like here down to here.
Like with the waffle stripes?
Yeah. Like why?
Like I saw the first video I saw, it was a guy, he was like at the top and it was all wiggling. I was like, why the fuck is this guy standing on a bunch of milk crates? And I was like, that's weird. And then I saw more and I was like, why are people doing this? And it's like, then you get like I love this stuff because it's like you see it out of context first. So you're like, what the fuck am I looking at here? What's going on? And then you're like, why are like one person was doing it, that was weird. Now two people are doing it. And then you hear it's a challenge and you're like, what the fuck? Who came up with this? And then it's just like people are eating shit. And it's like, I don't know. It looks like they're all the same. I don't know how many milk crates is in the center, but like each milk crate is a foot. So you're like, if you're up 6 milk crates, you're up 6 feet. You could fucking break your neck. I mean, maybe not if you're 20 and your bones are still like bendable and bounce back. But when you're like, some of these people look like they're our age and
they should not be, you should not be climbing on shit at our age. Let me tell you,
you could die. Or like fucking you land on your shoulder and then that shoulder just hurts for the next 20 years.
Every time I see one of those challenges now, I'm like, there's like a hospital in rural Nebraska that was like, whoa, we have a big funding deficit we need to make up. Let's get people eating Tide Pods or climbing fucking milk crates. get some of that money.
That's a good conspiracy that all these challenges are brought up by the privatized healthcare.
Well,
That's why they always start in the States.
It's never the like hug a puppy challenge. It's like, oh, like go fucking like, rub your dick on a feral raccoon and see how that turns. Like it's always things that will result in enormous injury to yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because it's like, are you a fucking idiot? Prove it.
And a lot of people are more than happy to be like, yeah, I fucking am. Let's go.
Yeah, like TikTok is just outing everybody that they're fucking idiots, being like, hey, you want to watch me drive like an asshole and crash? Watch this.
Fucking TikTok. Hey,
yeah.
Some good news on the horizon, I guess, depending on how passionate you are about this. But McDonald's is teasing the return of McPizza.
Nope.
No?
Nope. They said their tweet was the thing you have been asking for arrives August 31st. And then they said it's spicy. But then they made a tweet. They're like, it's not pizza.
Oh.
And they're like, everybody keeps asking if it's pizza. And then they did a funny fake Canadian heritage moment where it was like a part of our heritage. And it was like the like background of like if you're watching this after, I'll put a picture of it, but it was like the Canadian heritage moments with like the water background, and in the middle was a picture of McDonald's pizza.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think I mean, when McDonald's says the thing you have been asking for, there are exactly two items that people ask McDonald's for. One's the McPizza, the other's the McRib. I think outside of that,
the McRib.
Nobody really asks McDonald's for anything because the rest of their menu items are kind of horse shit. And I have to think like McPizza could even be like, those beloved childhood cartoons, and you go back and you watch them now and you're like, this doesn't hold up. Like, why?
You're like, this was just to sell me toys. How did I not see that?
Yeah. McPizza is one of those things where I think if like we all collectively could just like have a bite of one, we would be like, this is dog shit pizza.
Yeah.
Why did I miss this so much?
Be like, oh yeah, maybe there was a reason this just went away. And it wasn't the cook time was too long. It was because it tastes like fucking assholes.
Yep.
What do you think it'll be?
Well, I thought it was legitimately because like McDonald's has to know at this point, if they do this, people are going to be like, it's McPizza, because like, what the fuck else are people at? They said it's spicy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Spicy McChicken.
Don't they already have spicy McChicken?
Was it McDonald's Canada tweeting this?
Yeah.
They have spicy McChicken in the States year round. I think in Canada, it's like a limited time thing because our like super white taste buds can't handle that much spice.
Maybe it's spicy chicken McNuggets. Someone had said on Twitter.
Could be. I'd fuck with some of those. I think that's another thing they have year round in the US. Spicy nuggets.
The McRib usually come back? Is that like a yearly thing? It comes back on a date, or is it like randomly?
Oh, McDonald's just brought back spicy chicken McNuggets in the US. So you have to assume it'll be.
That's probably what it is then.
McRib. Let's fucking go.
Does that just remind you of Flintstones and the original Batman movie, or is that just me? Because that was the first time I had it was with Flintstones.
The McRib?
Yeah.
Interesting. Like the live action Flintstones with John Goodman and Rick Moranis.
Mm-hmm. And Rosie O'Donnell is Betty.
Right.
Sexy. Just gonna say it. Rosie O'Donnell has two roles where I was like, you know what, Rosie O'Donnell. That and
what was the other one?
That one where she went like her and Dan Aykroyd went to some S&M.
East of Eden.
Yeah. And she's like wearing a full pleather bodysuit. And you're like, oh, that girl from Stakeout.
Rosie O'Donnell, kind of sexy.
Rosie O'Donnell, yeah.
Wait, East of Eden?
Yeah.
No, what was that fucking movie called?
Wasn't
Dan Aykroyd. It was not East of Eden. Dan Aykroyd.
What was it? I used to have this on the tip of my tongue because
Exit to Eden.
Yeah.
Boom.
If you're listening to this, do yourself a favor and Google Rosie O'Donnell and Exit to Eden.
If you're listening to this and you've
feelings.
ever asked yourself the question, can Rosie O'Donnell or Dan Aykroyd be sexy in a movie? The answer is still no. I'll just say
the answer is yes. Derek, don't lie to people.
I don't know, man. That's like the spicy McNugget of it's like, oh, it's hot for like little white balls of like nothing.
You mean it's like Rosie O'Donnell in a pleather jumpsuit because people are asking for it and it's coming back. Could you imagine if Rosie O'Donnell was like, I know you've been asking for this.
The thing you've been asking for.
Puts on her Exit to Eden outfit and she's like, what's up, girls? Because she likes girls now. Or I guess she always did.
Wait, did she?
Yeah, she's like married with a child. But well, she's married to a woman and has a child.
Why did I not know that Rosie O'Donnell was a gay icon?
Because you knew you were just being like, that's stereotypical, and I don't want to come off as a bigot by just assuming Rosie O'Donnell was a lesbian.
Are you sure? Oh no, yeah, she's been married to a couple women.
That's the reason that Donald Trump was allowed to make fun of her, because people don't care about lesbians. They're like, she's a lesbian, she can fend for herself. But if she was straight, people would be like, you can't pick on women. For some reason, if a girl's a lesbian, people are like, yeah, you can make fun of her. She's a lesbian. They're tougher. They can handle it.
It's I'm not even. Yeah, apparently she's interesting. She's been out for like ever.
Yeah. She did release a stand-up comedy special like 2 years ago, and it's actually really funny. You should check it out.
No.
Oh, you know what you shouldn't do though, Derek?
What's that, Dale?
Not super glow your pee-pee hole closed when you're gonna have sex and you don't have a condom, because you could fucking die. Apparently,
why not?
Because you could
die.
Why
wouldn't I do that?
Did you see this? I put the link up in the notes.
I didn't click. I wanted you to tell me about it.
Okay, I'm gonna open it just so I can get the guy's name. So this guy and it wasn't his wife, it was his girlfriend. They go to a hotel and they're like doing some drugs or partying, and they're gonna like, get it on. And then he has the bright idea that to avoid pregnancy, he takes they just called it adhesive in the article. But you might be asking yourself, why would a guy have industrial strength adhesive and with him at some point and not a condom? Well, the reason was he mixed it with powder and they inhaled it to get high. So they had this adhesive, they're snorting it. Well, not snorting it, but they're huffing the fumes to get high. And then he got the idea, I presume, while high on glue, to like glue his pee-pee hole closed so they could have sex and they wouldn't have to worry about getting pregnant. Question?
Okay. I mean, number one, kudos to this dude for, when you're high, contraception is usually the furthest thing from your mind, but he still wanted to be responsible and make sure he didn't impregnate anyone. Number two, did he die from the combination of huffing the fumes and putting it on his, because you put this link in here and this in the headline make me think like, oh, he died from like filling his urethra with it and then that killed him. But reading the story, it's like, oh, he died from organ failure from like this adhesive. So if you just glue your dick shut and then don't huff the fumes, could a person still live?
I had assumed that he glued his hoo-ha closed and then all his shit got backed up and then his organs failed from that. But you're saying it's from the adhesive?
Well, so he's saying they were carrying the adhesive, occasionally used it with whitener to inhale the mixture for kick. Unfortunately, the adhesive damaged his organs and he died due to multiple organ failure. Also, it says in here that he was found unconscious the next day in the shrubs known to, or by a person known to him. So like someone found this guy just fucking keeled over in the bushes. But I'm like, that doesn't say, it doesn't say his organs exploded because his dick was backed up. It says it was a byproduct of the adhesive. So I'm wondering, and I think that someone should possibly test this out for us for science. Because we are all big fans of science right now. And I personally am just curious, if you glue your dick shut, but don't huff the glue. Do you live?
Yeah, exactly. Or if you just huff the glue and don't glue your dick shut, will you get organ failure? Or was it a fatal combination of them both? Because I was thinking about it, because I didn't see that the adhesive had caused organ failure. I thought like his shit got backed up, like because he was high, and then maybe he didn't unplug it, and then like his pee got all backed up into his kidneys, and then like all the like uric acid didn't get out of his kidneys. Because if you hold your pee too long, you can damage your kidneys, because the uric acid has to get out of your kidneys to otherwise it could damage them. So we're gonna need at least 3 people. 1 person to glue their dick shut, 1 person to sniff the glue, and 1 person to do both.
And 1 person, I'm also curious if they had just used a less strong glue, like if you just put like Elmer's glue or something, or
like crazy glue.
Like imagine Gorilla Glue,
how much that would hurt.
I'm just thinking about like peeling the tip, like when it came time to open it.
I was convinced that's why he died, because it hurt so much that he couldn't pull it out, and he's just like, fuck it, I'll leave it. And then like his backed up jizz got all mixed with his backed up pee, and then it was just like, that's a wrap.
I'm googling how long you can hold your pee before you die.
But how long do you think it? Oh man, it's just it's like, I like how we've both had penises for 40 years. You'd think we'd be like professional, like know everything about our penises, but we're like, I don't know what would happen if you glued your pee hole shut. Like, how long can you hold your pee?
Yeah.
Would it blow up like a balloon?
I also learned that a healthy bladder can hold about 2 cups of urine, which does not seem like all that much. I know
like
that
a lot.
2 cup, think like a metric measuring cup.
Yeah.
2 of those. I've had peas that were like well beyond that.
I mean, maybe you've worked out I know I have, because there was like, when I was a teenager, I would play video games and I just wouldn't get up. So I'd like hold my pee in, and I feel like I like trained my bladder to hold more, because I'm like, like you, like, I feel like, I don't know though. I don't know if it's 2 cups, because it comes out in such a small stream that it might seem like a lot when it's not.
True. But have you ever you pee in a toilet routinely?
Once in a while, yes.
Okay. Have you ever had like a routine pee not in a toilet? Like either you peed yourself, or a little goes a long way. Like you take like a normal size pee in the toilet and you're like, well, I don't like, is there that much there? If you piss your pants as a grown man, you're like, I am drowning. I'm now in a vat of my own piss, and I will never get out of here because there is so much liquid. It's like, so I think like 2 cups, like, I don't know. 2 cups does not seem, if I spilled 2 cups of water on me right now, I don't think it would seem like that much. But
that seems like it would be a lot. 2 cups of water? Yeah, okay, like here. We'll do this test. You will hold 2 cups. I will pee in them both till they're full, and then you'll spill them on yourself and see how much it feels like.
Throw them in my face and feel like, oh yeah.
Like, wow, 2 cups of piss.
All right. And we'll do this while
besides the warmth, the smell is overpowering.
Shot my dick full of hey, is your pee like clean? Because you have gout, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, so a gout is more
too much uric acid. Too much uric acid in my blood. Yes, in my body.
Your pee extra urine-y? on
Yes.
like on a daily basis.
Yes, because your pee gets yellow from the uric acid in your body going through your kidneys and out your pee. That's why it's called urine, coincidentally. So it's not like my pee is extra yellow. It's just like it stays yellow for longer. Because like they say you're dehydrated until your pee's clear. So you drink water till your pee is clear. But for me to drink water till my pee is clear takes forever because I just have more uric acid inside of me.
So
yeah.
Are you like super hydrated all the time then?
Yeah, I drink so much water that I have to pee like at least once an hour.
That's like, it's fucking annoying because they're like, oh,
dude.
you should be hydrated. You should drink so much water. And then you drink that much water and all you're doing is pissing. Like your entire life revolves around pissing.
And then you piss so much that you're not hydrated anymore. And then you got to drink more water.
And you got to drink that pee that just came out of you. Hey, I found a guy on Twitter posted a like leak from a McDonald's somewhere. And it is the spicy McNuggets. Sorry, McPizza fans. But we will have spicy nuggets to enjoy for a limited time.
I'll try them. I've never had spicy nuggets before, so I'm going to try them out and see what they taste like.
I still have nugget PTSD, but
I'll
do it. From my nugget eating competition with Noah. Which I still haven't posted it online, but I ate like 35 or 36 nuggets in
goddamn
in about 10ish minutes. And
but the real important question is, what does eating 36 nuggets do to your pee?
I mean, probably made me piss the big because I went and I fucking passed out like 20 minutes after doing this, and I napped for 3 hours, and I woke up and it was like it felt like I was fucking hungover. Like it brought me back to
all that salt and stuff. It just like sucks all the water right out of you.
Yeah. I bet my piss would have tasted like straight McNugget though.
I mean, if you have to drink your own piss, like you're out surviving or just being Bear Grylls and being dramatic for video, tasting like McNuggets wouldn't be the worst thing.
No, I think, okay, you have to drink a cup of urine and you can pick one flavor for it. What does the urine taste like?
Like I add a flavor or the flavor's in it?
The flavor's in it, and it just like, it completely masks the flavor of urine. The urine you're drinking now tastes like one thing. You still know it's urine, but it gets to taste like something else.
That would be so it's you're not masking the taste of urine, you're just replacing the taste of urine.
You're replacing the taste of urine.
Because I was trying to think of a flavor that would taste good with urine, but we're gonna chase. Okay.
It still looks like urine.
Probably. Oh God, that's hard. I want to say apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, I was
because for whatever reason, apple cider vinegar is so gross that you wouldn't be like, or like you wouldn't be like, drink it and then be like, well, apple cider vinegar is ruined for me. Because if I make it taste like peppermint ice cream and then I drink a cup of pee that tastes like peppermint ice cream, then peppermint ice cream's a write-off for the rest of my life. But I could easily go without apple cider vinegar for the rest of my life.
I was gonna say apple juice because that like the pee also, if I drink a cup of urine and it tastes like coffee or something, I'm like, well, that's there. This is clearly urine, just like coffee flavored urine. But if you drink apple juice, you could actually just be like, well, it's apple juice. That's
a good point.
Not urine at all.
Yeah, because you would be like, oh, I thought this was urine. I guess it's just apple juice. Chug, 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 chug. Like, wow, 2 cups of this. It does seem like a lot. I don't know what I was thinking.
A large amount.
Wow, those people who turned off the podcast within a minute are sure missing out on all this.
They are, yeah. I hope they came back to hear this dialogue. Hey, can we talk about the? I really want to talk about this one.
The baby dick.
The fucking baby dick.
Yeah, dude. I feel like this guy also brought this up a couple of years ago. Did he not?
I'm not sure.
Okay, sorry, I'll just introduce the topic so people know what we're talking about, not just baby dicks in general. So Mr. Spencer Eldon, who was 4 years old when he was photographed by a family friend in 1991, and then Nirvana used the picture for their cover of their album Nevermind. He is now trying to sue Nirvana, saying that it's child pornography. And everybody like me is just being like, cool, it kind of is, but why'd you wait so long?
Well, it's not.
Well, it is a naked child, so it's child pornography.
It's not.
I mean, how did they get a kid penis on the cover of an album is what I'd want to know. Like, was 1991 just that different of a time where we could have baby dicks on album covers? I guess it was.
It's not. I mean, so a couple things. Number one, a naked picture of a kid is not automatically child pornography. like you have a picture of a kid.
It's not something I'm going to argue. I'm just going to assume that they all are and not keep any of them.
You have a kid in like, yeah, it's weird if you have a fucking library full of like baby dicks on a hard drive in your home. But if I have a picture of like Noah in the bathtub and I send it to a family friend and I'm like, isn't this funny? Like, look at my kid in the bathtub, which I wouldn't do because he's 7 now, and that would be a little bit weird. Yeah. But if you like, not every picture of a child is child pornography, and it's definitely not like fucking sexualized. Like this guy, it's not a sexual image. It's just an image that his penis happens to be in. So here's my take on it. This guy either needs, it's one of these two options. There are no other options. Let me know which one you think it is.
Okay.
He either needs a payday and desperately needs a payday. And so he wants to sue Nirvana for money.
Yeah.
Or his dick has not grown since that picture was taken. And he's like, this fucking album is ruining my life because women go into it knowing that I have a tiny dick already. And it is only one of those two options. There is no other reason for him to be doing this. Which do you think it is?
Obviously the second one, no chance. Because it's ruined his Tinder game, especially then. And the reason it's coming up now is because COVID lockdown is making it even harder for him to get online dates, because it's not that like he could say, like, he's trying to say, I've always been traumatized from this and I've never recovered. But he did recreate the album cover for the 10th anniversary, the 17th anniversary, the 20th anniversary, and the 25th anniversary, which was 5 years ago, because this is the 30th anniversary of it. And when I'm asked about the cover on the 25th anniversary in 2016, he said, it's cool but weird to be a part of something so important that I don't even remember. And yeah, sorry, I was just reading this to see. So they said that the photo was taken by a childhood friend. Okay, like a family friend. Here's what I want to know. So where it goes. So it says Mr. Eldon suffered permanent harm because of his association with the album, including emotional distress and a lifelong loss of income earning capacity, which, anyways, the lawsuit did not provide details to losses and said they would be disclosed at the trial. And they said, Mr. Eldon, an artist living in Los Angeles, the guy who took the photo, county, has gone to therapy. Or no, wait. Okay, wait, where was that part?
This is the quote right here.
Yeah.
He hasn't met anyone who hasn't seen his genitalia. It's a constant reminder that he has no privacy. His privacy is worthless to the world. This guy's dick has not grown since 1991.
Okay, this is the part I was looking for. The photo of Mr. Album was picked from among dozens of pictures of babies Mr. Weddle photographed for the album cover, which Mr. Coe envisioned showing a baby underwater. So this guy took dozens of pictures of dozens of babies, and Kurt Cobain was like, let's just sort through all these photos. Because I don't know, like, the more you think about Kurt Cobain being like, I'm thinking about a picture of a baby underwater naked to put on my album cover. Can you go take dozens of pictures of dozens of babies naked underwater and then show them to me? And then I will look at all of them.
I mean,
and then I'll pick my favorite.
I could see it, and it doesn't seem that creepy because looking at the album cover now, it's like it's such a fucking like globally recognizable image. Like you see that weird little misshapen dick, and you know that it belongs to I can't even fucking remember his name again, but
Mr. Eldon.
Yeah, it's a fucking. I don't know. It was like the perfect album cover. I don't think anyone even like looked at the baby dick. I think it's like a byproduct of the times we live in now where people are like, oh, it's like it's like a weird sexual thing.
Well, I remember remember Spinners in Salmon Arm?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I remember. Shout out to Spinners and Salmon Arm, the only CD store we had my entire adolescence.
And it's probably been gone for about 20 years or something.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
But they had a big X over the penis because they used to have like the record store posters, which are oversized. They're like twice as big as a regular poster. And they had a big X over the penis. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember some places when they had the records on the shelf, they would put a sticker over the penis part.
Yeah. Also, they did that for Ween's chocolate and cheese, which showed like the underside of a full-grown adult woman's breasts. Yeah.
And it was no nipple, nothing. It was just the bottom shelf. Do you think that's where ours as a society and not me specifically got so obsessed with bottom shelves?
Yeah, it was that specific album cover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if he has it's weird that he spent the last however long celebrating this album cover and like embracing the fame it has brought him, and then all of a sudden it's a problem now.
Well, I feel like, okay, I'm not gonna say he shouldn't get anything, because I feel like if you're like him, like he's the model, and this fucking album made so much goddamn money, you can't just cut this guy a piece. Yeah. You can't just give him like 1 million so he shuts up and leaves you alone. Like, he's asking for 150 grand from 15 different people involved with this thing. So
150 grand each, or 150 grand total?
150 grand from each of the 15. What's 15 times 15? 125?
15 times 15 is...
It's 125, is it not? Oh, no, that's not right.
150,
175. Is that right?
It would be, if we total it all up,
1.75 million?
$150,000 at 15. Yeah. 15 people paying 150,000. Fuck. I'm good at math. $2.25 million. Wow,
I was way off. Yeah. Just give this guy $2.2 billion, because that fucking album is still making so much royalties, because for whatever reason, people are still listening.
Yeah, outside Nirvana. Of fucking like Kurt's estate and Courtney Love and Dave Grohl has obviously found like massive commercial success with the Foo Fighters, but I don't know that like who's making that fucking money. Because
Geffen Records.
What's his name? The other, like
Chris Novoselic?
Chris Novoselic or what? He's not. I don't think he's fabulously wealthy.
His band Dogstar didn't. What was his band after Nirvana? Was it Dogstar, or was that just Keanu Reeves' band? And I'm getting them mixed up.
That was Keanu Reeves. Are you thinking? Was he in Temple of the Dog? Was that the other one?
That was Pearl Jam and Soundgarden.
Right.
I feel like Chris Novoselic. Did you say Novoselic? Why do I always think it was Novoselic? I think he's just been living a very comfortable life off the royalties of the 3 or 4 Nirvana albums that were so famous. Like, think of what did Nirvana have? Like 4 albums? Like, you had Nevermind, the one before it, I can't remember. In Utero,
Bleach, Nevermind, In Utero, and then
live in New York.
The Unplugged in New York, and then they
Yeah.
also did from the muddy banks of the
Oh yeah.
Wishaka or
So
whatever.
that one was like B-sides or whatever. But just from Nevermind and Unplugged in New York, think of how much money was made off of those guys.
Yeah, but like who the fuck who made that money?
Geffen, Chris, Courtney Love, because she would have got all of Kurt's share.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind this was from a time where you know, the majority of the musical marketing machine that was still owned by labels. And I think labels did sign bands to deals that didn't always benefit them. Like they were, you know, these guys weren't getting streams for who owns the Nirvana music catalog?
That's a good question. Yeah, because like it's not like Kurt, Chris, and Dave were just splitting the pie three ways. Like Geffen probably got most of it. And then maybe if they're lucky, they got royalties and stuff. Because I know like a lot of times that musicians in the 90s ended up being the equivalent of a hired contractor, where it'd be like you hired them to service and the service was creating the music. And then the record label would own it. So the record label would make all the money off of it.
When was this?
But I imagine that, like, because it had to be enough money for Courtney to kill Kurt.
I mean, it's a substantial. In 2006, Courtney Love announced that she was selling 25% of her stake in the Nirvana song catalog in a deal estimated at $50 million. And that was in 2006. And that was 25% of her stake was worth $50 million.
So that would be $200 million.
So her total stake was $200 million. And we don't know what total of like the total her stake was. But that's not a that's a pretty substantial amount of money. So
yeah, I could use $200 million.
I could use if my dick, if my little weird looking baby dick was all over. If my little baby dick made a band, $200 million. I think 2.25 million could be the least they could do for me and my baby dick.
Like I'm surprised the band. Maybe the band, or not the band, the people in charge of the money from Nirvana. I wonder if they paid him off before and been like, just get out of here. Here's some money. Or if they were like, this time they're like, yeah, we don't want anything to do with this. You're old and creepy now. We don't want to celebrate you. So get away. We're separating from you. And then he was like, oh, are you now? I'm going to sue you because that's me naked and I want the rights.
Well, yeah. I have to wonder if he's been like, you know, coming to them every few years for the past, like you said, this had come up once before. And I wonder if it was just like, he'd like pop his head out of the sand, like a little baby gopher with a weird tiny dick, begging for money. And then they'd throw a couple $100,000 at him to make him go away. And then he'd pop back into his burrow with his weird little dick. And now he tried again. And they didn't give him anything. So now he's suing. Oh, but they're like, I don't know. I have to assume that he would have liked to sue them for like, you know, his likeness or like using his image.
Yeah.
But his parents probably really fucked the dog on that one when they sold a picture of him for $200.
Yeah, they were probably like, yeah, you could take a picture of our kid. Give us $50 and you'll never hear from us again.
Yeah.
And then this also goes into like, it is also weird that it's a picture of him and there's like, you can't just be like, okay, I don't want my dick out there anymore. And they can't just be like, all right. Like, I know you can't get it back off the physical copies and stuff, but you could see them like maybe photoshopping the dick out of like the Spotify. Ooh, I'm going to look this album up on Spotify and just
to see if the dick is still there.
Yeah, well, see if the dick shows up on the album cover. Because if I was Spotify, no, the dick's still there. Yeah. So if I was him, I would just be like, just take it off the digital copies. Like,
I don't
fuck
know,
off.
man. This is not something like this is basically like this would be like removing the fucking crosswalk from Abbey Road or removing what's another really famous fucking album cover. Like you can't just just take the baby dick off now.
You can't just George Lucas it and put a bigger explosion in.
You
like he did to Star Wars. You gotta just fuck with it. You gotta leave it. No, I don't know. For me, it's like nobody gives a fuck about the baby dick. Like there's nobody being like, this isn't Nirvana music without staring at this baby's dick. People like I bet if you photoshopped it out of all the digital copies and just the internet didn't have it, people would be like, huh, this used to have a dick. Now it doesn't. I'm not going to be the guy who complains about it not having a baby's dick on the cover anymore. But I imagine there'd be like an Alex Jones being like, this is censorship and this is bad. I don't know. I'm like, what's more important? This guy's feelings are our ability to see a baby's dicks. And I'm just going to say this guy's feelings, not because I'm a nice guy.
You're measuring it wrong. What's more important, this guy's feelings or money? The answer is always, it doesn't fucking matter what that other thing is. The answer over what is more important, money or X, the answer is money every time.
Well, I mean, I'm not even talking about the money. Like, I'm not saying like, yeah, give him the money, whatever. It's only $2 million. It's not like the fucking people who have this. Like, it's not like Courtney Love can't afford 150 grand if she was selling 25% of her money and shit for 50. But it's just like, be like, okay, we took the dick off. It's not child porn anymore. Sorry. But then would it be like an admission of guilt? And then it would be like, since you took off the dick, you knew it was wrong. And it's like admitting that was wrong.
Well, then it would also, is he happier? Because then it's like him as a baby, but he has no genitals. And then what's he going to tell his dates? Be like, oh, I'm a Ken doll in real life. Oh, you know the genitalless baby on the cover of the Nirvana album? Yeah, that's me. I don't have a dick at all.
Yeah, he'd be like, you know how there's growers and showers? I'm neither.
I'm neither.
I
got nothing.
You know, some people have
I'm a knower.
A penis that looks like a baby's arm. Mine looks like a baby's penis.
Fuck. All right.
Do we want to hear Andrea's grown-up take on it? Because she said it in the
I
comments.
saw her comment, and I'm like, yeah, this is all very like rational and reasonable, and it's a wonderful thing to say, but there's no place for that on this podcast.
Okay, Andrea. I'm just gonna read it because I brought it up.
Fine.
People, she just said that blew me away because it never occurred to me that image could be sexual for some of the pervs out there. But sometimes we think we know things, but we do not. Maybe it has affected him. Sounds like he might have more issues than the image, though, and family dysfunction is more the root of his problems. I agree. They will do a psych assessment for court, I'm sure, and then the answer will be clearer. So yeah, like Andrea made a valid point that this could be coming from somewhere else and there could be something going on. I imagine if your parents allowed
sold a naked picture of you for $200.
Yeah, they would have done other things that might have affected your upbringing as well.
Even if they didn't, that alone, I think, would be enough to cause me to have tense relationships with my parents for the rest of my life. Be like, oh, thank you for fucking selling my dick to the music publishing giant for $200, mom and dad. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for being the sole reason women won't sleep with me. Has nothing to do with my personality or my looks or the way I smell. It's all because you took a picture of my baby dick and just threw it out in the world, and now everybody's seen it.
Also, thanks for giving me a dick that hasn't grown over the past 30 years. So now I got to sue people. Thanks, Andrea, for your very grown-up
Yeah.
take. We appreciate it.
And I'm glad we were able to re-childize it and make it very immature.
Of course. All right. Anything you want to cover before we wrap up?
I wanted to bring up, since the election's coming up and I'm being called both a communist and a fascist for supporting Trudeau, but there was something that came up where he said the conservatives aren't talking about the She-cession. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard. But then I looked into it and I was like, oh, he's kind of got a point. And that's just, he was calling it the She-cession because like over the COVID pandemic, there was kind of a recession, but it was like women were hit more because they have the service industry jobs more than men. So it's like, I think the final tolls are like women's unemployment is 5%, whereas men's 3.7. So he was like, wanted to address that. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because it sounded like the dumbest thing to say, but he's actually kind of got a point. And it is an all right pun, so I'll allow it.
Yeah. I mean, this is actually like the She-cession is it's a real thing. I don't think Trudeau coined the term.
No, and he it's just like the pink tax and all that.
Sounds like a huge fucking dork every time he opens his mouth. So
yeah,
I don't know.
You know what? I think I'm going back because it was like the first time I voted for Trudeau, I was like, I'm voting for the party. This guy's a hairdo. He's a dumb idiot. Whatever. I'm voting for Liberals. The second time I was like, it's been 4 years. Trudeau kind of like stopped stuttering as much as he did. He is kind of can hold himself, but now I'm like, yeah, I'm voting for the party and not Trudeau because he's like a big idiot again. It's gone full circle.
Like I honestly do not care about, like, so fucking dumb that they called this election. And
he's like, I want to get a majority. I was like, maybe
that's not gonna.
You kind of put your foot in your mouth, or not put your foot in your mouth, but I think he kind of didn't see it going as bad as it is.
No, and it's not going well, and the polling is like continually working against him, and I don't think anyone's happy with the ongoing COVID restrictions, and a lot of people stupidly fucking believe that a change of government is going to make a difference when like I honestly don't think it will. I think it would.
He fucked up and he should have done like Horgan, who called the election when it was still going good. And then he just like was like fucking like, hi, bye, I'm out. But this time it's like, who was the conservative leader before? Was it Scheer? Am I thinking of the right person? Yeah, Scheer was a maniac. So everybody's like, I'm not fucking voting for him. And now O'Toole, you're like, O'Toole, it's just too easy. It's a layup. And then like he like O'Toole is kind of saying some stuff that is like, actually kind of left for what the conservatives would be. I can't think of the exact thing I was thinking of, but he's been like, he said one or two things where you're like, oh, that's doesn't sound like a conservative policy. So he's kind of like, he's doing the opposite of Scheer, because Scheer was like just trying to attack Trudeau and saying everything he was doing was wrong and goes super conservative. Whereas O'Toole's like, okay, we kind of learned our lesson by getting our dicks handed to us last election. So this time we're going to make it look like the conservatives have been moved a little left because of the way everybody views everything.
Yeah, so I will say he is, Aaron O'Toole is apparently against vaccine mandates. And I'm wondering where that puts it. Like, I'm actually curious about what's Canadians in favor of vaccine mandates. And I'm just pissed we have to fucking like vote and worry about this shit. So I'm basically just gonna like, I don't even give a fuck.
Are you gonna vote NDP again?
Yeah, probably. I think. Yeah. I mean, the lady from my riding has won like 2 elections in a row. And I like her. She seems to do good shit. I dig the NDP.
How much?
I'm a crazy fucking leftist.
How much has Singh aged in the last 2 years?
A lot.
Dude, the last time the election came around, I was like, oh, that guy's young and spry. And now you see him, you're like, wait, is he older than me?
Yeah.
Like he's got like gray in his beard.
We had a picture because we ran into him, what, three years ago? I guess it must have been.
When they were campaigning for the last election.
Yeah. And he was a pretty youthful looking guy then. And now he like, those are some road miles.
Yeah, those are some stress from leading the NDP.
Yeah. All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this special Saturday night edition of the Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online and explain what they're done for caring. I've been your co-host, Jarek Bolin.
I've been your other co-host, dalederuiter. Join us next week. We'll probably talk about dicks again.
We will probably talk about we'll talk about bigger dicks, not baby dicks this time, full-size dicks.
Man dicks.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, fucking Instagram, TikTok, wherever. I think it's Outrage Fact Pod everywhere except for TikTok, which is Dale's own personal account.
Yeah, it's dalederuiter. Just go there. Or you could go to the Instagram, Outrage Factory. Go to the website, outragefactory.com. Or just wherever the fuck you get your podcasts.
Wherever the fuck you get them. Also, while you're there getting the fucking podcasts, make sure you rate, review, subscribe, say nice things to your friends about us.
Smash that like button. Do whatever it does that people get famous on the internet, because I wouldn't mind getting some sweet cheddar. Make us more famous than Nirvana, because I could use a $200 million. I promise I'll only spend 5% of it on something grown up and normal.
Yeah, and he'll keep his baby dick to himself.
Yes, I will. No one will. If you give me 200 million, and no one will have to see my baby dick.
That sounded weird. Anyways, until next week.
Stay angry.